Guten Tag, YouTubers. So, 2 videos, 2 days. Could it really be happening? Yes, well, this is what an argument with the girlfriend does. It drives you into the garage. So, today we are looking at the engineering, welding, machine work, whatever, fix. Differential is going to be cleaned. I brought down my ultrasonic cleaner. I'll do the zooms. Yeah. And we're going to put some of the bolts and shit in that to make sure it's all clean. And yeah, we may even get the old MIG welder out today. So yeah, today could be full of disasters or success. I suppose there's only one way to find out, and that's to get stuck in and use my fine adjustment tool. Alright, so first things first, I'm just going to have a bit of a tidy up. I'm just going to dump all of the bolts into... Yeah, I know, sorry, that is neat petrol. I know it's wrong, but fuck it. It'll be fine. And just give everything a bit of a clean and a bit of a scrub. I brought some fairly soft wire brushes just to give the diff a bit of a shine and a sparkle. And then after that, we're going to get stuck straight into trying to fix this particular problem. So yeah, I will set the camera up on my trusty bit of blue tack, and if I can find the trusty bit of blue tack, here it is. Don't say this is a small budget production. I stole this from my daughter's bedroom, so you know, no expense spared. Now I realise I forgot to show you the clean bolts out of the ultrasonic cleaner, but you'll see them next time, and I did decide to paint the torque rods. Anyway, this is just me doing some scrubbing, something I'm good at. So diff came up beautifully, and I think as I move forward through the car, I'll probably give it a bit of a spritz up as I go. But yeah, hold on, because some truly shocking welding is coming up in a few minutes. Right, campers, I've just turned that off because it's a noisy bastard, and apparently audio is important in YouTube videos. Who would have thought, hey? So, look, beautiful and clean. Don't look at that bit or these bits. They're just not clean. So I had a quick spruce up. The diff looks fucking beautiful. And as I said in my video yesterday, this seal had failed. Well, obviously if the seal had failed, it still wouldn't be seeping because it's at the top. But if you notice, it is actually a breather. So all of that muck was probably 50 odd years of accumulated shite. So I've got all the bits in there, apart from these torque rods. I could paint them. I could, but probably not. So now it's time to do something about this. Unfortunately, I can't put it off any longer. So the plan is, obviously, I'll get the drive shaft out of the way, and then, being a bear of little brain and very little experience, I was planning on using some of my friends down here. To and also I do have the world's smallest punch to sort of cajole it back into some sort of shape. I'm going to take some measurements from certain datum points and just check that I'm not wildly fucking anything up. But you know, if it was going to bend, it would have bent when the drive shaft hit it, and if it's really going to bend, it's going to bend when I weld it. So I don't think I'm going to bother. I think I'm just going to go ahead, get it sorted, get it back down on the floor, stick a level on it, and then do some measurements. You know, this is probably the time for action rather than inaction. And you know what, if it's knackered, it's knackered, and the whole chassis will get replaced. But I think I stand a fighting chance of saving this. So, never had a look up in there. I'm going to set the camera up on the blue tack, and hopefully you will all have a bloody good laugh at me fucking about. See you on the other side. So what do we got? Well, that was partly successful. I brought this piece out first, then tried to bring this piece out, but unfortunately I chose the wrong side first, and this is now stuck behind. So I've got an option of putting a little cut in there, or bending this back, pulling that out, and potentially fatiguing the metal even more. So yeah, I'm gonna go with what approach seems easiest. And can I get a disc in there? Well, possibly not. That's the problem. So I think I'm gonna have a go at knocking this back and then bringing this side back out first. Okay, so we have progress thanks to the help of Hammer-O and Bendo. I've managed to pull this lip to roughly where it wants to be. I have what I would call a pierce there that I just don't know how, with my limited knowledge and ability, you maybe see a bit better there, I don't know how I'm going to solve that. So my solution, unless people I subsequently ask or comment on this video that know better, if I just join those two bits of metal with weld, straighten this profile, I think that'd be called, straighten that out as much as I can, keep it all lined up, and then just strengthen it with weld, surely that is going to be good enough. You know, these, and obviously just a little tickle in there, these chassis weren't the strongest of things from new. You know, they flex quite a lot. People put strengthening plates there and across here, so I might do that as well. But this is not going to be pretty, but it's going to be functional. It's probably a little bit like me. So that's what I'm going to do, knowing that if I weld that up and people scream blue murder and tell me everything's wrong, I haven't really left it in a worse state than it is now. And seeing as these chassis aren't chassis that you generally chop bits out and weld them back on, you just pay $2,000 and get a whole brand new one. That's probably what the solution would be if this was a mess. So I see it as a shot to nothing, and I'm going to give it a bloody good go with the MIG welder. So I suppose I will I'm going to do a bit more hammering, because who doesn't like hammering? See that bit there? Yeah, you may not be able to tell, but I actually hammered that straight. But if you look slightly, there's just an ever so slight microscopic kink. Yeah, fucking professional. So I'm going to straighten that out a bit, clean up the metal with a grinder, and then I'm just going to throw a MIG welder at it. What could possibly go wrong, I hear you ask? Right, off to get a grinder. There is the daily driver. It's good at everything, very good at nothing, but yeah, not bad. I know everyone's desperate to know more about the P38. This is my last P38. It's a bit of a breaker. If anyone wants some bits, let me know. Famous Renault 9. Who doesn't have a Renault 9 stored somewhere out there, person? Anyway, so I'm just thinking as I walk over here, what do I want to be doing this with? Ideally, I'll be doing it with my little Dremel, but I have the Dremel, the no wire brush attachment, so it's going to be going into Dad's stores and seeing what he's got. I think he might have. There we go. Yes. This looks like the drawer where I'm going to steal some stuff from. Does he have any small drill attached bits? Yes. Now they look like they'd go in my fucking Dremel. Are they going to be man enough? I don't know, but I think that might be. Rather than get the Dremel, because that's a pain in the arse. Nope. Haha. Bonza. Hope one of these fuckers has some charge in it. Now I'm sure at some point there's going to be awards out there for YouTubers with excellent production work and wind noise and steady camera work, and I'd like you to all vote for me. So I think I'm the best. A yellow 911 with a green interior. Now that's not actually mine, but it sleeps here on a more or less permanent basis. So yes, right. Back to the Lotus. I'm going to get cracking, and then I'll set you up with a bit of a welding video. All right, I'm all set up. I've cleaned a little bit of galv off there, so if I've got a good earth. Cleaned up the area. Got me MIG. Some ventilation, because obviously I was working with some fumes earlier, like petrol, and I don't want to blow up. So all I'm going to be doing is literally just a series of spot welds, just to tie it all together, basically. That is partly because I'm worried about heat and distortion, and partly because I don't know how to do a continuous nice weld properly on metal this thin. So very simple. That's what I'm going to do. I've got all the garage doors open, just going to get the last fumes out, and then in about 5 minutes I will crack on. Yeah, so this bit goes on for 6 long, boring minutes of watching me do a tiny bit of welding. The welding sounding like machine gun splatter, and then me checking. There is one amusing bit where a spark gets in my lid, but I won't bore you and make you guys watch through this. So yeah, the welding, I think the main issues were I didn't clean the areas enough. I maybe didn't have as good at earth. I'm not sure if there was enough gas, and I definitely didn't have the settings right, because it just didn't feel good. And obviously I'm a blunt instrument and was getting things wrong too, but I feel there's a combination of everything. But it's just lack of experience. Anyway, I'll zip you along to the next section right now. Okay, so what have we got? All right, first of all, no laughing, but Steve, they weren't, that was probably the closest to a bit of a butt weld. This is all overlapping in a step, so it's never going to look too tidy. But yeah, we have there is still a hole at the top, but I'm just not good enough to fill that. And I'm going to be honest, I don't think it matters. And down here, where are we looking? I can't get the camera in the right place. There you go. That is joined. It is not pretty. It's not pretty, but if you look at that, sorry, let me get the sun out. If you look at that compared to what it was, you know, I've given it a bloody good whack with the hammer. It's joined, it's connected. Pretty confident that will do. I mean, it's going to be in a position where it's weldable for the next month or so. So, you know, if something's drastically wrong, we can revisit. But I'm reasonably pleased with that, guys. Right, well, filled with confidence, cut out some little fillets that will go in the rear. I've seen this done on race cars, and obviously mine isn't a race car, but if it just adds that little bit of strength back in, that'll make me happy. So I'm just gonna tack these in and then put a few spots around them. Again, not professional, not the best, but hopefully it'll do the job. It just won't look very pretty. Right, well, that didn't go very well at all. I used up all of my welding prowess on the chassis repair. This is just dog shit. So yeah, I was kind of tempted not to film this and show the world how awful it is, but in the interests of being open and honest, yeah, this is going to be I'm going to get the grinder, get these off, tidy it up, and then forget it ever happened. Yes, welding's harder than I first thought. Thought. My mother would be so ashamed of my pronunciation. Right, and now we can pretend as if it never happened. All nice and clean. I'll probably get someone who knows what they're doing to weld these bits up, so I think it would benefit everything. But that is all for today. Next time we will be putting the brace on the diff, modifying the diff so it fits easily, putting it all back together, bolting up the rear end and putting the handbrake in. So the rear end should be done in 1 or 2 episodes time, and then it's moving on to the front, which needs, while we're here we might as well say, ultimately there's a lot I want to do. You know, I want to put a rebuilt engine in, change the carbs, change the ignition and everything else, but you know, that's all going to take time and money and effort, and I don't have a huge amount of any of those. So I'm going to get, what needs to happen is the studs that are stuck in here. Can't be asked to take, well, I may as well take it off. They need drilling out and replacing, and then yeah, just basically same as at the back, just tidying it up, making sure a few things are done and sorted, because they're easier to do while the body isn't on. And then yeah, it's probably going to come to a stop while I wait for some more funds, because this motherfucker isn't staying on. Fucking thing. Even I know some people like distributors and whatnot, but it's right underneath the carbs. You can't even get the cap on without really fucking about, which isn't good for it. And yeah, so it's being ousted. Whether I go for something like Lotus or Megajolt or a 123 distributor, but as good as they are, they're still a distributor. I think I'm probably going to go Lotus. So that will be waiting for that to happen, basically, before progress goes. Right, I'll stop rambling. Catch you on the other side, motherfuckers.